Welcome back to the activation phase. Today we're looking into the Age of Alexander Mercenaries. So this is a mercenary tier list, so a general overview of what the mercenaries can and can't do. First up, the bottom of the bunch, the weakest mercs, we have the Tarentine Cavalry. They're 8 warriors mounted on horses with javelins. They can run away and charge, but it's quite difficult to pull off. And they can move whenever a enemy unit ends their movement within medium of them, and then they can activate to charge when an enemy unit within large of them rests and the Tarentines themselves don't have a fatigue. Then they can charge before that rest is through. So the problem is that only works once if you can pull it off, and then they run in their horses with javelins, so they have armor 3-3. So once they're in there, they're just going to die. Their cavalry can charge them, no problem. They can get shot, no problem. And it's very hard to pull off to keep them alive. They have no synergy with any of the battle boards. They just die immediately, usually without taking out much. Not worth it. Next up, we have the Illyrians. They're 8 warriors on foot with javelins. They're quite fast when moving. They can move L on their first move per turn instead of medium. They want to target armor 3 or lower with their shots, so 8 warriors on javelins throw 4 dice, and then if they go into armor 3, they have a buff that lets them hit 4 shots on average, so 4 hits, and then can gain determination if 3 of those guys die. So they have 2 ways to gain determination, either if in a single shooting attack 3 enemy models die, or if they win a melee. Them being equipped with javelins and just 8 dudes means that if they win a melee, the chances are good that they don't have enough power or punch to do another one. So even if they do gain determination through being lucky or being good, then they won't. Not a lot of them will be left to kind of really use that determination for the rest of the game. Not great. Next up are the Overshadowed mercs. We have the Rhodian Slingers, 8 warriors on foot with slings. They're quite weak when they're charged, very easy to kill because they have slings. They're just armor 3-3, and they can close ranks, so very easy to take out. They can have a high value, low range shot, so if they decrease their range to medium, they have 8 shots instead of 4 for being 8 warriors, which is good, but the problem is if you're that close to the enemy, as I said, they're very easy to take out, so they just get charged next turn and die. There's nothing you can do about it. Next up are the Cretan Archers that maybe do their role just a little bit better than the Rhodian Slingers. They're 8 warriors on foot with bows, but they're armor 4 when being shot, which is good if you want to be in the middle of it. They can shoot L like any other bow, but they can have a high quality shot in medium. So if their first activation of the turn is a shoot activation, then they gain 2 bonus attack dice, and if it's within medium, then you get a +1 bonus to your attack dice. But if you rest or move before, then this is gone. So very hard to pull off, still weak in melee, and if they get charged, they die. Kind of tough to play these guys. Next up are the Thracian Mercenaries. They're 8 warriors, either mounted on horse with javelins, on foot with javelins, or on foot with heavy weapons. They are quite good at hunting Saga dice, since they gain 4 bonus attack dice when they charge a unit that still generates a Saga die. They can reroll defense dice when they're being shot, but it's kind of hard to pull off. So there's one of 2 conditions that need to be met. You either are in light cover already, so that doesn't really make a tempting target for the opponent anyway if these guys are in light cover, or the unit that's shooting at them needs to be further than medium away. So that doesn't work on elephants, composite bows, javelins, and even bows can get into medium to just negate that. Kind of hard. And then having no protection from battle boards means that they're armor 3 in melee. Once they get charged, they're dead. The Galatians do the mercenary beatstick role just a tiny bit better. They're 8 warriors on foot, or they can be mounted on horse. And they gain 4 bonus attack dice in melee. They can reroll some attack dice just as many as the opponent has armor in melee, and every one they roll on their attack dice is a hit back on themselves. So these rerolls usually come in very handy to not end up with a 1 on your attack dice. But still, they do this once or twice and then they're gone. They don't really have any sustainability, or they don't activate themselves. They're okay. They're a little bit better than the Thracians, but still not great. Next up, we have the good Mercenaries. And we started off with the Thessalian Cavalry. They're 8 warriors mounted on horse. They have armor 4 against shooting, which is very good, being mounted on a horse. They gain automatic hits on the charge. So for every 2 figures in your Thessalian Cavalry unit, you gain 1 automatic hit, which is very good into Hearthguard and also into Warlords, because these automatic hits are really going to hurt. And also into units that have, these guys can do a double charge with fatigue and still gain 4 automatic hits, which is going to hurt any Hearthguard, and have 8 attack dice. The problem with them is they're literally one-trick pony. Once you send them in, they won't come out again. They will die in the next turn. You can't get them out. They will kind of tough into shooting, but other than that, they get charged and then they die, because their auto hits only work on the charge. Next up are the Scythian and Bactrian Horsemen. They're 8 warriors mounted on horse, and they can have composite bows, but you can leave them off. So if they don't have the bows, they have armor 4 against shooting even though they're on horse, which is good. And in every melee they partake in, they gain 2 bonus attack dice if they don't have the bows. If they do have the bows, they have 1 bonus attack die in every shooting that they partake in. They can activate for free to charge once per turn, and if the target that they are charging already took a casualty this turn, that is fatigue free, which is good. So their composite bows can take out a mini, which is enough, a figure, and then they can charge without a die, without fatigue, which is good. And also, you can use these kind of as a small hammer blow. If any other of your units took out a, for example, with shooting, took out a figure already out of unit, then these guys, without a fatigue, without a die, can charge them with 10 dice if you didn't give them the composite bow. One important thing, they have a withdrawal of large, which is important, because even though maybe your opponent has to withdraw, these guys can still withdraw themselves, and large is very, very good, because if your opponent did withdraw and so you're at least going to be 16 inches away from each other, which is a tough area to cover if you want to be charged back, if the opponent wants to counter charge. Next up, we have the Thurio. They're 8 warriors on foot with javelins, and they have armor 4 in melee. When a friendly unit nearby activates, they also activate for free. So if an infantry unit nearby activates for a move or a charge, these guys also can activate for a move or a charge. That just means that they can easily move around, charge whenever you need them to, and they're with armor 4 in melee, they're quite tough even though they have javelins. This also works in the opposing turn, in the opponent's turn. They can, if your units can have an order reaction and then these guys are nearby, they can activate or to move or charge as well, which is good. Next up, we have the Agrianian Javelin Man. 8 warriors on foot with javelins, and they're quite fast in terrain, and they can decide to not shoot these with their javelins this turn to be even faster. They have a free charge into enemy units as long as they have fatigues. And if at the beginning of the combat the enemy unit has more fatigues than the Agrianians, they gain 3 extra dice that can be attack, defense, or a mix. And if the enemy unit at the beginning of the combat has more fatigue than the Agrianians, the enemy unit can't close ranks, which is very important, especially into Hearthguard or into a Warlord. This is going to hurt a lot. When they get attacked, they have solid cover without closing ranks, so they throw their full attack dice while still having solid cover, which is very good. Next up, we have the Seloi. They're 12 levies on foot with javelins. They can activate free once per turn. If they're within medium of an enemy unit, they can activate for shoot. And if they're out of medium of an enemy unit, they can activate to move. That's very good, because these guys, if they shoot, then this is not the free javelin shot, then they can use the free javelin shot after that. And if you wanted to, you can still use a die after that to shoot again. So that's 18 shots for one die with one fatigue, which is very, very powerful. And if they aren't quite in range yet, you can still move them up in fatigue-free shot with the javelins. When they get wiped, they don't inflict fatigue on friendly units, which is really good. You can use these guys as a screen. Enemy units shooting into javelin levies, not fun. And then charging these guys, cool, you can wipe them, but it doesn't really, I don't mind. And then if they stand here with one fatigue near my lines, that's okay, I can deal with that. So these guys being a screen for your army, and then at later turns possibly just being annoying with lots of shots for free, very, very good. Alright, let's get into the very good mercenaries. The Greek mercenaries are 8 Hearthgun on foot. Their armor 6 against shooting, so as annoying to take out per point as Javelin Levy, for example. They have determination, which is just super useful. And every friendly infantry unit within medium of them gets defense dice. This excludes themselves, levies, or elephants. When they close ranks, they get a +1 bonus to their defense dice, so they effectively save on 3s. So a combat bonus with a defense die in there just to play it for these guys makes them very, very, very survivable. On the charge, they themselves only throw 8 attacks instead of the 16 a normal Hearthguard unit would throw with 8 Hearthguard in there. But if these guys don't close ranks, then they still throw the full 16 dice. Next up, we have the Camel Riders. They're 8 warriors on camels with composite bows. They have armor 4 against shooting and in melee, even though they're mounted and have composite bows. They have determination and a pre-game maneuver. So they can maneuver, so this is a maneuver, not a move. So they can maneuver before the game starts, and this is before the first turn. So even after this maneuver, you can still move L in the first turn with your camel. They gain extra attacks in melee and in shooting. So 2 bonus attack dice, and this effect stops once they go below 4 figures, so they don't generate a Saga die anymore. They can reroll their attack dice in shooting, which is very powerful. 6 attacks coming out of 8 warriors into Hearthguard, rerolling hurts a lot. Next up, we have the Thorikitai. They're 8 warriors on foot, and they shoot for free without fatigue within medium once per turn. So they don't count as being equipped with ranged weapons, but they still shoot once per turn for free. They offer rerolls to friendly units within short, so also to themselves, and it's 1 defense die reroll per model to themselves and any units with ranged weapons, and it's 1 defense die reroll per 2 models of the Thorikitai alive for every other friendly units. So if there's the full 8 Thorikitai alive, then it's going to be 8 defense die rerolls for ranged and themselves, and 4 defense die reroll for every other units. So Thorikitai, very good. And let's get into the last tier. They're just a tier of their own, the Cappadocians. They're so good. They're 8 warriors on foot. They have determination, very useful. Their second move per turn doesn't generate fatigue, so if they haven't charged in the turn, their second move does not generate fatigue, so it's very easy to keep their buff in range of the units that need them. They offer additional dice to all friendly units within medium, also to themselves, and it's 1 defense die and 1 attack die. Also, a single 6 scored on defense and attack dice counts as an additional success. So a 6 on a defense die cancels 2 casualties, and a 6 on an attack die inflicts 2 hits. They lose this bonus, this buff, as soon as they don't generate a Saga die anymore, so they go below 4 warriors. And they also count as being in light cover when they're shot, so they're very hard to take out. So if you shoot at them, it's very expensive to get them below 4, and if you charge them, they can close ranks, get the additional defense die, and also get the double 6 if they get it, so they're very tough to take out, and they're quite easy to keep behind your lines. That was the overview over the Age of Alexander mercenary tier list. Give us your your opinion, your experiences with these guys, and let us know down below how they work for you, and if you disagree on any of these. I hope you enjoyed, and bye bye.